Hello, everybody. Stu Smith here, going live. I hope you are well. Happy Tuesday. I put in a title for this show that I thought might get a little bit of attention because are you willing to quit caffeine? Whew. Or am I even crazy for mentioning it? Um, the reason why I'm saying this is just after looking at the many benefits of reducing caffeine. I know there are some benefits for caffeine, so not knocking it, but I thought it was more of a challenge. So I wanted to try it. So I'm on day 3 right now of no caffeine. And I won't lie, um feel pretty good. No big deal. First day was not easy. Um Definitely felt like I was dragging ass a little bit in the afternoon. I usually have some unsweet iced tea in the afternoon as well as the morning. Um, but you know, I think I got through it best with actually I took a nap one day when I was tired. That helped. And then I also when I couldn't take a nap, I took my phone with me and I wrote an article because I had to finish an article by walking and just talking into my phone and then transcribed it later. So I think the walking and the quart of water at that point helped me get through that little headache issue. I didn't take any medicine for it. Some people do. Um, but anyway, let me read to you a list of um, some benefits to it. One, if you have anxiety issues, laying off the caffeine can actually help you be less anxious, jittery, restless. Um, so that's a good benefit there. In fact, caffeine can even cause it. If you drink a lot of caffeine, um, it can restore your natural sleep patterns because if you have caffeine after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it is affecting your sleep at some point. Um, let's see, bathroom breaks. Caffeine is a diuretic, so you will be going to the bathroom more frequently. Um, Not that that's a horrible thing, but it can if you're not hydrating with some water, it can definitely dehydrate you. Although it does dehydrate your skin, so your skin can look, uh, I guess, better. I don't know. Not really a skin guy, but I guess it can be more hydrated and not flaky or dry or wrinkly. I don't know. Um, Breaking the chains of caffeine dependence. Sometimes we just need it, and sometimes that's a nice thing to be able to not need, right? Think about that. Um, it does take a little discipline, though, I will tell you. These last few days, I have had the habit of getting my caffeine in the morning and skipping it, and I'm still alive, so it's working. Something I didn't know that I was doing a little research in because I'm writing an article on this topic as well is it interferes with nutrient absorption in your stomach. So your body's ability to absorb the food that you eat better can improve with less caffeine in your system. Can help your teeth, especially if you're drinking coffee or teas or sodas, for your caffeine. Makes them a little stronger, brighter. Reduce your blood pressure. That's a big one. So if you're older like me and you care about your blood pressure, caffeine can raise it a little too much. So there you go. There's some benefits I just wanted to share with you. See if that helps. But if you think about what recovery is, and we talked a little bit about recovery the last few days, um, is sleep and nutrition primarily. So by reducing caffeine, you sleep better. the nutrients that you eat are absorbed better, it could have a really big effect on your recovery. Just makes sense. So there you go. There's the top of my article. People are already saying you're crazy. I'm sure everybody loves their coffee. Let's see. We got any questions here? Trying to find my. Oh, there we go. Here's the Instagram, folks. Instagram says no. I switched from energy drinks to black coffee, no sweeteners. I think that's better for you for sure. Um, I'll be Virginia Portsmouth. Do you think we can talk about mud pupping? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm in Maryland, um, so I'm not sure how I can help you. Um, that's always a fun one to get rid of. Yeah, sure. Not easy. A benefit I found to giving it up when you really need it uh, will give you a boost rather than keep you functioning when you have it every day. That is true. I will say that it is more effective if you give it up and then do it when you really need it. Let's say you staying up late because you got to drive an extra, I don't know, 3 hours or something, and you're starting to get tired. And if you don't do a lot of caffeine, that caffeine can be very effective in helping you stay alert. All right, next question looks like 9 minute mile time, 60 push ups, 80 curl ups, 10 pull ups. I have 11 weeks until basic. Do I have enough time to train for buds? I didn't even see anything about a swim time there. Um, I mean, you're reaching minimum scores there. I'm hoping that 9 minute mile time is a 9 minute mile and a half time because 11 weeks is not a lot of time to train with those scores because it's more than just the PST. I mean, you got to do 4 mile timed runs, you got to do 2 mile swims with fins, you got to be able to handle a load, so rucking and soft sand. So, I mean, I think you need more time personally, but get after it. Uh, so slowly switch to Mio without caffeine. Not sure what that is. Sometimes 14 minutes. That's really slow. So chances are you broke my number one rule, and that is you have talked to a recruiter before you can actually crush the PST. So my number one rule to avoid things like this is don't talk to a recruiter, sign in, get in depth, and now you got a ship date. And now that is your timeline to prepare for whatever job you're trying to do. If you haven't prepared for spec ops jobs long before your ship date, before you even talk to a recruiter, chances are you're not going to get into the zone that you need to be in to even get accepted to go to that training, much less make it through. So, I mean, do your best. I've seen people get through buds on the minimums, but it's ugly. Be prepared for the pain. How would I go about taking more time to train? Leave the recruiter's office. I mean, no recruiter is going to like me saying that, but if you really want to go to buds, I mean, you probably need to say, hey, I'm not ready to ship out in 12 weeks. I need more time. I mean, you got a year in delayed entry program. That may be more effective for you. Let's see. How much air do you need to exhale to swim at the bottom of the pool? All that depends on your body composition. If you have more fat on your body than muscle and you float, you may have to exhale every single thing in your lungs and you still may not sink, right? So it really depends on how buoyant you are, how neutral you are, or how negative you are. If you're negative, you don't need to exhale anything. You'll just sink, right? If you're neutral, perfectly neutral, you'll probably have to exhale 50% of the air in your lungs and you'll sink. But if you held your lungs full of air, you'll float. That's neutral. Positive means you exhale everything and you're still bobbing there like a cork, right? Morning from Boston. Let's see. Friend of mine recently tore his MCL playing hockey. Has 6 weeks of recovery. Any exercises for him to do during recovery? I don't get into that. I would just say do upper body workouts and um, skip the leg days and just listen to your physical therapist. Your physical therapist is going to guide you through post surgery activities. Don't listen to a trainer at that point unless they're a physical therapist. I don't even touch guys post surgery until their physical therapist has said, yes, you can go train. I have air crew as a placeholder. I've already thought I didn't have enough time, so I was thinking I would go for buds after air crew and when I feel ready to crush the PST or more. That's another way to do it. You can be in the air crew world and make a lateral transfer to buds. Chances are, if you really want to leave for the Navy now, that's likely what is going to occur. It's just harder to get to buds from the fleet than it is from the street. Just the way it is. You're going to have to worry about air crew letting you go, and you're going to have to worry about your year group not being full. Now, the good news for you, this 2024 year group is really small. They're going to be pulling from the fleet for the next couple of years, um, most likely just to fill up 2024. How long is the hill you guys run on? On hill day, what is your guys' approximate total mileage? So hill day works like this for us. We go um, 2.25 miles just to get to the hill. Usually that's a warm up run. And then the 1/4 mile hill that we run, it's pretty steep, but it's a 1/4 mile down, 1/4 mile up. So every hill that you run round trip, you add another half mile to your total run. So we usually do 5, sometimes 6 hills. So that's going to add 2.5, 3 miles to the run, and then we run 2.25 to get back. And usually on the way back, we'll hit some intervals. Usually make hill day our leg day, so we'll do some squats and lunges along the way as well. So in the end, 7 miles usually. All right, let's see what this one is. This is a good one. Had a former Delta guy recommend I do 10 sets of 10 with 225 on the barbell squats. What are your thoughts on high intensity, high volume workouts? He said it give me insane muscle endurance and strength. He is not wrong. However, 225 may not be doable for you. So you might want to do it with 185. But 10 sets of 10 is definitely all about muscle stamina, endurance, along with it has a good hybrid effect of strength as well, just because it's working all of your load bearing muscles together. Another one I like to do is chest carry lunges. So I got a sandbag of about 40, 50 pounds, carrying it like this, like on my chest, right? So it works your biceps, it works your lower back, and it's working your legs with the lunges, and you walk a 1/4 mile. Sometimes we'll pump that up and even do a half mile of that. So that's a tough one. But yeah, along the same lines. Weighted lunges and weighted barbell squats are great. How do I find a balance with high weight and high reps? Is 70% of max or something higher? Well, here's the deal. I don't do high rep workouts along with high weight workouts. Those are two different cycles for me. And it's the way I have been training now for 30 years, 25, 25 years. Um, so I'll do a lift cycle and then I'll do a calisthenics and cardio cycle that is all high repetitions. We'll do some weight vest in that world too for high reps. But um, my advice, if you want to lift for volume but go heavy, is add more sets to your workouts versus reps. Because you can do sets of 5 moderately heavy weight. 70% of your max is pretty good for a set of 5. um, and try that more, that do it 10 times, see if that works, versus a 5 by 5 you do a 5 by 10, 10 by 5, if that's your goal. Let's see, nothing over there. Oh, I do have some CSS videos to show. Let's see if they've shown up already. I sent some to myself this morning and I don't see them, but I got a couple. Got a couple here. I'm going to, this is kind of a, going to show you guys what not to do in this one. So let me share this one over here. Okay, refresh. All right. So sorry, it's taking me a second to get this all squared away. Hmm, what is going on here? Why can't I show this? All right, now I got it. Okay. All right, let me share the screen here. Boom. Oh, it just went. Oh man, what the hell's going on? Why is it going black? That's so weird. So you guys see the purple, right? Let me see if this works. Okay, here we go. All right, so kicking off the wall, this is so many things that are wrong. All right, so kick off the wall. This looks pretty good. I don't like the multiple dolphin kicks. Really good streamline. So I would say, anybody with a cap on and those kind of shorts kicks off that streamline, I'm going to say, wow, this is going to be really good. Um, and then I see the first stroke. All right, top arm. He doesn't turn his head to breathe. Boom. All right, so we go top. Okay, now it just falls apart. So I'm not sure what he's doing. So you can see that top leg always goes forward, pops his head up to breathe like he's doing the breaststroke. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Like there's no glide, there's no kick. Like this is one of those I would say you need to watch more videos and look what you're doing wrong, because there's just so much you're doing wrong. Top leg needs to go forward. So, a real quick way to fix that, if your top leg wants to go backwards, real quick way to fix that is to change sides. So, if you change sides, that top leg's going to go forward. Guarantee it. But you need to turn with the top arm. See how you don't turn with the top arm right there? So you should be breathing or turning your head to breathe right here, right? So you're trying to breathe while you're doing a recovery, it looks like. Top arm, turn your head to breathe. Yeah, that bottom arm doesn't need to be like a full stroke. It needs to be more like a breaststroke. You need to be on your side. You need to take out those flutter kicks. Whew, there's a whole lot going wrong. So you need to send me a new video because um, of you practicing it, doing it correctly, because that is it's like, have you watched any videos? And then did you watch yourself swim? Because, you're just not doing it right at all. Alright, let me see if I can share this guy's screen. This guy looks good from the start. He also has a swim cap as well as a, good streamline, so let's see how this one works. We'll go back to back on some swim videos here so you guys can see this. All right, so we're gonna kick off the wall. Boom, nice. Oh, he's got a speedo too. You know he's a good swimmer, right? Kicks off the wall, double arm pull, nice breaststroke pull out. Over glides, loses all his momentum. Good breaststroke though. Oh, he's doing an underwater stroke. Okay, never mind. Wasn't sure if this was an underwater or a. That's a really good underwater. Though I will say you're probably gliding a little too long. The fact that you can do 25, let's count those strokes because this is key. Efficiency in underwater. So when I coach underwater swimming, I want to see a good streamline, want to see a good double arm pull, good glide there. You don't need to over glide to where you stop, but you got a good breaststroke to get you going again. You kick and recover here, hold that glide, then double arm pull. Yeah, this is perfect. There is literally nothing wrong here. I didn't count strokes. Did you guys? Let's count strokes here. So we got kicks off the wall. There's one. And I'm just counting arm pulls. Two. Nice. Three. Yeah, and finish with a kick. So yeah, that's three kicks and three arm pulls. Nice little turnaround there. I like it. No, that's good. You don't need my help with underwater swimming. That was excellent. I had a couple of more that I sent to myself, but you know how email is when you send videos. Sometimes they pull through. They still didn't do it. Damn. Huh. Well, I had two more for you. Maybe they'll pop up here in a second. Just take some time. All right. Let's take some more questions here. Um, Good morning, everyone. Sounds like the biggest hill we ran in boot camp, San Diego Marine Corps. Yes, I've heard about that one. Um, Biggest hill they call Mount Mother Effer. Yeah, man. There's some hills that the hill that we have isn't horrible, but if it was any longer, there'd be people quitting running up that thing because it is just enough at the very top to get you at your max heart rate, especially if you're trying to run it fast. Um, yeah, hills, man, they're good. If you don't have soft sand, find hills. Been doing strength training with my endurance, and it's hard to know what I'm doing correctly. Um, well, here's the problem, and this is a fairly generic point that I'm going to say is it is really hard to see improvements when you are strength training and doing high endurance stuff. It is very likely you will not see improvements in either or maybe just one of them, right? It really kind of depends on the intensity of how you're lifting as well as the distances and how you're running and swimming or doing other activities, but it's just hard to improve in both at the same time. Have people done it? Yes, but it requires a really strict regimen of recovery, um, balance of training. I mean, you pretty much have to be like full time job is like your training. So for most of us, what we do is we've created a system called seasonal tactical fitness periodization. If you have not heard of that, look into it. In fact, I'll put a link to it right here. I got a whole section of seasonal periodization, and this is what I have been doing now for 25 years, and this is the way I train. This is the way I coach, um, and it's awesome. It works really well. And here's how it works: is right now we're in the spring. Spring means we are ramping up our running and we're ramping up our calisthenics, but we're also leaving a winter lift cycle. So hard earned gains, we're not lifting, we're just lifting differently. We added a block periodization model where every fourth week we stop the progression of cals and cardio and we do a lift week, right? But our main goal, our primary goal, is to improve our cals and cardio. Our secondary goal is to maintain hard earned gains from the winter lift cycle. Understand, primary, secondary. It's hard to have two primaries and see improvement. You can maintain one of them, you can improve the other, but very likely they're not going to improve at all. In fact, you'll probably do worse in both or see no improvement in either. That's a typical outcome as well. So in the summer, it's ramping up even higher. We're continuing that cals and cardio ramping, mileage, everything increases to a peak. And we peak in about late August, early September. Um, and then we start the fall cycle where we're deloading all of those runs and we're shifting gears, and those runs are getting shorter, getting faster though. And our reps are getting smaller, but our weight's increasing. And then by the winter, it's a pure winter lift cycle, though we warm up with calisthenics and we cool down with cardio. Not much, just a little bit. Maybe, you know, 25% of what our summer running is. So that's how we do it. In fact, you can see it there in that seasonal tactical fitness periodization, why it works for us. What's your opinion on CrossFit to help getting ready for a pipeline? I would say it's a good warm up for what you need to do, right? So if you like CrossFit, great. Go do your CrossFit workout, but then add your running, add your swimming, add your rucking. Um, and if there's certain calisthenics that you need to prepare for because there's a fitness test with sit-ups, you need to add some sit-ups. So, um, yeah, it's a great training program. I don't have a problem with it. I think people get into it and think it's universally for them, and they find out that they're not prepared to be able to do those workouts, and they need to ramp up logically into those kind of high volume activities and perfect form when you're lifting, all that stuff. But yeah, you're going to have to add a lot to it. I wrote an article about CrossFit and spec ops training. You can find it on the Google machine. But here's the deal. Most CrossFit workouts are like 30 minutes long, right? I promise you, there's no 30-minute workout that will prepare you for a day of spec ops training, period. You have to put in the time. What PST scores should we see in order to feel comfortable to transition from phase one to phase two? Also, phase two going to keep those gains or maintain. Yeah, you'll keep improving with phase one and phase two. Um, phase one here, right? It's just PST focused, though it goes beyond the PST with pool skills, longer running, throws in a ruck or two in there as well. So it's not all PST, but it is PST focused. Um, I would say as long as you're feeling good with the PST, you've taken it several times, you know how to strategize it. You can get sub 9 on the swim, you can get 80 plus on the push ups, sit ups, 15 to 20 on the pull ups, and you're flirting with 9:30 on the run, sub 10, I'd say on the run. You're in the zone to where you could go to um, phase 2 and 3 of the program. Um, but I will say this: most people do really well after the PST phase one book to a point where they're, auto qualing, maxing, whatever you want to call the PST when you do really well. Um, so usually it works pretty well like that. Turned 38 in 3 months. Can I still continue to put on muscle naturally? I'm so worried about this. Yes, you can. Absolutely. In fact, there are studies. You can just Google studies of muscle growth, and they have had people grow muscle in their 70s. So it's not all downhill after 38, I promise you. I'm in Central Texas, and it is about to get extremely hot. Yes, it is. Is it okay to switch to the winter lift cycle for cardio, to cardio, and vice versa? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here's the way. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily switch it just because of the heat. I would switch lift cycles and cardio cycles because one is your weakness. So, for instance, we have a guy coming in working out with us that is a cross country guy. I'm like, you don't need to do all the running that you do. In fact, you need to do a supplemental workout. After we do this morning workout of cows and cardio, you need to hit the weight room and, pull back a little bit on the running. Don't push yourself too hard because you got to eat more. Every calorie you burn out here in the morning doing cows and cardio, you got to put it back on, eating. So it depends on the person. And now we also have it flipped the other way. Whenever we have a big football player about to start a winter lift cycle, we're like, don't even go in the weight room. All right, you can go in for 2 sets, but don't do all five. And then you come out and you're on the cardio machines. So yeah, that's how we adjust it. I haven't really adjusted it for heat per se, but we just run earlier in the morning when it's really hot during the day. That helps a lot. Or indoors if the weather's really bad, just run on a treadmill. I don't like to, but sometimes you have to. Like we'll run on a treadmill when we get ice on the ground. Oh, let's see what else we got here. I emailed you about getting in, and my recruiter is setting me up with the ASVAB test next week. I am very excited. Hopefully, the guys at NSW allow salty 31-year-old dog to go. Never know. Yeah, I've seen it happen. Also, that was my underwater. I was worried about my baby flutter kicks to maintain trim. Nope. Shooting for a CCT. No, that was excellent. It wasn't very noticeable, your flutter kicks. In fact, I saw your feet moving, but I wouldn't call them flutter kicks. Flutter kicks are just going to make you winded. So if you find yourself winded, take out the flutter kicks. Most time flutter kicks don't help anything, but they can flatten you out a little bit. So, nah, man, that was a really good underwater. You definitely don't need my help. Let's see here. Do you think being able to do 1.5 body weight bench, 2 times squats, 2 times deadlift of my body weight is strong enough to getting SFAS? Absolutely. In fact, have you not seen my um, assessment tool? Check out this assessment tool because those numbers are all in line with this assessment tool that I have for squats, deadlifts, bench. Um, I even have it as 1.5 to 2.0 body weight for squats and deadlift. So, yeah, somewhere in that. Okay. I'm doing great today. Thank you. Yes, me and my boy, when we're drown proofing, don't even need to let any air out when bobbing, but do it obviously to help with air cycle. Yep. So yeah, some people have a real easy time drown proofing. Or I should say this. everybody has an issue with drown proofing because you're either positive or you're negative. Sometimes you're neutral. If you're neutral, you probably don't have a problem at all with drown proofing. If you're positive, bottom bouncing is going to be hard. You're going to have to exhale when you want to inhale, and that is uncomfortable. Floating when you're negative is just constant dolphin kicks to stay up to the surface so you can, you know, put your head up to breathe every 10 seconds. So both types have an issue. Are you familiar with Rob Wolf's stimulant stack for alertness with 50 grams of caffeine every 2 hours? Oh my God, that sounds horrible. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I mean, I guess there are some times in operations where you need to stay awake, and you know, um, that is something that will definitely keep you awake. So, and it doesn't sound like too much. 50 milligrams is just not even a cup of tea. My old tea. This is decaf tea. Um, yeah, there are some situations where alertness is required, and you've been up all day. You've been up for 24 hours plus. You know, yeah, you need some. You need something, um, and that would be my go-to. I don't necessarily like nicotine, but caffeine would be definitely my go-to to stay awake. What percentage of run should be done in soft sand prior to going to buds? Well, first of all, you need to crush the mile and a half. Then you need to crush the 4 mile timed run. And that's usually on hard pack sand or a track. After that, I'd say probably half of your, if you can, if you can put some hills in there, weight vest on a stair stepper if you don't have sand, but do a couple sand days for sure. We do a hill day one day, and we do a beach day another, and we do a track day the third day. So that's how we kind of diversify our running miles, and it seems to work pretty well. Um, do you have any books, advice for beginners to try and start getting physically, mentally fit for the military? Well, I do have some beginner guides. In fact, um, this is my 90-day beginner guide, and this is a true beginner guide. Now, don't don't get it if you're like not seal shape or something, but and you think you're a beginner. It's for people who don't work out at all, and they need to build into working out, and that's a good 90-day starting plan. That I've seen people lose 30, 40 pounds during it. They start getting in shape at the same time, and that's healthy. That's a healthy way to do it. So that does work. But there are some definitely beginner options on the website, Stu Smith or StuSmithFitness.com. You'll see a general and beginner model of fitness that you can find for sure. What did most guys say they felt unprepared for in selection? A lot of them say running. They weren't ready for the mileage of running and the pace that you needed. Um, um, Rucking sometimes for some of the army guys. Treading water, that's a big one. Some people don't swim with fins. That's a big one. Stu is so elite. CrossFit is just a warm up. No, I am not elite. I'm just saying, like, there are elite CrossFitters that spend all day doing CrossFit. That's a different animal. Regular CrossFitters who are just going to a 30, 40-minute workout need to put in more time to prepare for the specifics of their selection. So, but yeah, I do say that. Just use it as a warm up. All my running is done on old country roads, rocky hill, gravel, sand with creek crossings. That's awesome. I figure if I can get it there, I should be able to. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. I tell you one thing I did. I ran on this during the summer. I grew up in Florida, and I would run on this riverbed that was all dried up during the summer. Um, so yeah, I ran all these trails to get to the river. Then I ran on the soft sand riverbed. That was really cool. But mainly because I lived 80 miles away from the beach, so didn't want to drive 80 miles just to go run in soft sand. So tried to find some other soft sand. Another way I found soft sand was a friend of mine's uh, neighbor was a farmer, and we just knew each other because we'd help him out sometimes. And I asked him when I came back from school one year to if I could just jog around the farm that had just been plowed but not planted, and he let me do that. So I ran on a plowed, uh, you know, farm field. So that was soft sand, kind of soft dirt. So you can find ways if you just get creative. All right, couple more questions. Can I take lion's mane or Irish sea moss if use it daily at selection? You can't use any supplements. And now, if it says, like, for instance, my vitamin D vitamins say supplement facts on the back, right? If it says supplement facts, you can't take it. If it says nutrition facts on the back, then you can, because that's a food. Let's see. Good morning, Stu. Brought my CSS down from 13 to 1030. Oh, that's nice. I feel as if I'm peaking in the swim. You're not peaking if you're at 1030. I promise you. The rest of the PST is stellar, sub 10, mile and a half, 80 pull-ups. Okay. Um, Here's the deal. Send me a video of you swimming, and I can tell you how to fix it. So just get a video to me, and it's probably a technique issue. Could be a conditioning issue. You just got to ramp up conditioning to another level. Keep doing that 50-50. So that will help you as well. Let's see here. I'm training for buds, but I don't have good access to a pool. I'm in rural North Carolina. What are some things I can do to make up for not being able to swim as much as I need to? Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Um, I'll be honest with you, I never had that issue, though. I have done some bay swimming and some, ocean swimming when I didn't have a pool. Um, Maybe a lake. You got some good lakes up there, mountain lakes. That might be something, be an option. What pace do you hold while rucking in preparation for buds? Um, Usually the guys are hitting a 10 to 12-minute mile in rucking. And that's most of that's on sand too. Some hard pack, some soft sand. Let's see. Getting into fitness, what's a good baseline to know if you're ready for the seasonal block training? Um, if you're just getting into fitness, you're not ready for that program I created. But you can block seasonal training however you want. You don't have to use my training for it. You can create your own. So you could do a beginner calisthenics cardio plan, right? And then in the winter, when you're ready to lift after doing a beginner cardio plan, you can do a beginner lift cycle. All right. I don't really have a beginner lift cycle. I do have a circuit training program that you can usually utilize machines or free weights with it. It's pretty basic, but that would be an idea of how to use seasonal periodization or even block periodization. You do 3 weeks of an easy cals and cardio, and you do 1 week of circuit training with weights in the gym. That would be a good idea to do it. So, or you can just do a harder workout like this and you just personalize it for you. So take out half of the mileage of the running, skip the swimming altogether, replace it with biking if you don't know how to swim, and then, make half the repetitions of the workout each day, go through the whole workout doing 50% of the workout. Then when you're done with it, come around again, see if you can do the whole thing without having to alter the reps. That's another way to do it. Sometimes you have to personalize these generic routines to fit your abilities, your facilities, your equipment, your time per day, days per week, scheduling. All of that needs to be you in order to get this workout done. You may have to, personalize it yourself to get it done. But it is a guide to how to do it. What's my go-to pre-workout meal? Well, I work out first thing in the morning, like 6 o'clock. I'll do another workout at 2. I usually go swimming at 2, or I'm coaching, depending on how many new guys we got. Um, but I usually just go with something real easy. I get some juice and a banana and just go with that. But then when I get back, I get some eggs, get some yogurt, some fruit, and boom. I'm ready to go for the afternoon workout. Then I'll eat lunch. My lunch is a normal lunch, usually salad, steak, fish, chicken. All right. Looks like we're doing pretty well here. All right. Last questions. Have two concerns really, and that's just the 50-meter underwater swim. My 25s are good, and just getting sub 10 for the CSS. Any advice for underwaters? Yeah. First of all, don't practice them alone. Second, make sure, like that video we just showed, make sure you're as efficient as that guy. Because if you can do it in 3 to 4 strokes, even with kicking off the wall, you're really good, because when you jump in and do the flip, you won't have the wall to kick off of. But if you have a good breaststroke pullout, it doesn't matter. You're going to be back into the pace of swimming with one arm pull. So, um, um, that's what I would do. Never practice alone. Practice on your efficiency, not your breath holding skills. Sounds like you don't eat a lot of complex carbs. I eat both. You know, I get tons of fruits and vegetables. I got quinoa with brown rice and salmon. So I bounce all around. Pretty diverse in my diet. All right. You guys have any questions? Looks like we're pretty good here. Looks like I hit everybody. I will say this: if I did miss your question, just send it to me by email, or you can DM me. Happy to answer it. Um, My email is stu@stewsmith.com. You can DM or email me videos too if you want me to critique them. But also check out stewsmithfitness.com. And if you use the live15 coupon code, you'll save 15% on programming that we talked about today. So there you go. Don't forget TikTok too. I have a great CSS page, nothing but CSS critiques over there on TikTok. But you can also go to Instagram Reels, and I usually put the same ones up there that are on TikTok. So, all right, folks, I do need to go. I will chat with you guys next week. But if I missed your question, go ahead and email me, and I will definitely get back to you. I appreciate you. You guys have a good one.